Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition of the Sparkling Tuna Cup, week number 83, a special edition, the Team Liquid Map Contest 20 edition. I'm, of course, your host, Live VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat, by my plushies as well. Welcome, one and all, to something special here. Welcome to the Team Liquid Map Contest edition of the Sparkling Tuna Cup. We are featuring 8 brand new maps. 8 new maps here are going to be showcased, and we're jumping into our first one. We're jumping into Killer's Mile, and spawning in the top right hand corner of Killer's Mile, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Orange Protoss, representing clan among SC2 people. The owner, actually, it is RenieHour. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents, we have his teammates, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, also representing among SC2 people, it is Guilliman. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Both these two players are more semi-pro, if not amateur, up-and-coming Korean players. They are here. They're facing off the first round, and I'm excited to feature our new maps. Let's go. Let us go. If you were here last night, you would already be aware that we did actually cover some of these new maps last night in Ducklings Open. Did feature some of them last night. There were some that did leave an impression, like Lost Fantasy, like I almost said Dragon Claw. Sandworm, that's it. Like Sandworm as well. Definitely some interesting maps, and now we're here to feature some more maps in the new map pool. This is Killer's Mile. Fun fact, this is actually made by the person whose ID is Killer Smile. So very creative, clearly, is the map maker in question. So this is in a way his namesake, in a way, as we settle into our first map. So far we have our initial setup here. So the main base is going to be available to us. We do have, I guess, a way into the main here with a Reaper Cliff alongside a Blink location, but a very kind of small way into the main. There are some otherwise blockers in place to try to avoid that, to try to make this place more secure. Likewise, limited dead space behind the main base. We do have our natural as well. Like we have seen in a lot of these new maps, there's actually a lot of space between the natural mineral line here. This is to try to deter and to help against early game, or I shouldn't say early game harassment, against harassment in general. Like Banshees, Liberators, whatever harassment comes into a middle line is going to be more exposed because they have to go further into the base, further into the natural. Likewise, we also embrace the map itself. There's some ramps in the center. The center base location here is almost similar to, in a way, ley lines, where the center base is a little bit more exposed, is more accessible from the low ground, from the left, from the right-hand side. The third base, likewise, a lot of entrances towards the third. There's an entrance towards the right, also a ramp on the left-hand side. So the bases here are a little bit more exposed. Even here on the right-hand side, you have multiple entrances towards the linear third base as well. So this map does feel a little bit more open. There's a lot more attack pods available. There are some towers that can be knocked down at one point. We'll see if we can get there. For now, standard opener out of our Protoss player, and our Terran is going for a 1 base 1-1-1. Okay, interesting. Hold on, I do need to set this up. Bam, beautiful. But we do have a one base all in. Okay, never mind. Straight up 1 base all in here from our Terran player. We stay on 1 base, going 1-1-1 into a second ranks. Most likely gonna pull the boys. We have Marines, Cyclones, tanks, medevacs. Everything is gonna be sent across the map. I would love to embrace this map a little bit more, but we won't be able to too much. At least we can take note of the defensive features. There is a very narrow ramp coming into the natural, very Abyssal Reef-esque, kind of like Abyssal Reef, kind of like the other map that comes to mind, King's Cove, kind of like King's Cove as well. So a very narrow ramp. This makes it difficult to all in up the ramp into the natural, I will say that, as there is a very defendable location here on top of said ramp. Now, of course, you can rotate over to the right hand side and try to go for a bit of a different angle of attack that is available here to our Terran, and most likely what's going to happen. Speaking of, Marine drop across the map. This is a very fast third nexus. RenieHour. Pappy, calm down. We're going 3-gate blink into a third base. We're rushing into a third. RenieHour still doesn't know what's going on. Again, it's still a 1 base all in. We can't afford to get a third base. Not here. Not like this. Not like this. As there we go, does force a cancel. RenieHour stuck on 2 bases, is making a safety immortal, has a safety shield battery, thankfully has some units to defend, and will have warpins as well, as Blink is about to finish. Now, the third base is right next to the natural, so this third base actually looks quite defendable, is what I will say. Coming into a later game, we're not going to get there, but I do see this base. On the one hand, it is close by, it's very defendable. At the same time, though, it is still very open, so there's some pros and cons. It's close to the natural, it's close to the main, but at the same time, it's very open when it comes to trying to hold on to it here. When it comes to these greater arcs, when it comes to these greater concaves. Likewise, RenieHour does move out. Couple workers going to be holding here to that Liberator. Meanwhile, back at home, still one base setup here. This is going to hit a little bit later. This I'm less fond of. It looks like a 3-1-1 setup. We are waiting for stim, so it's going to take a little bit longer, but it does mean that this will most likely hit with 3 tanks. We have 2 tanks, and a 3rd tank is on the way. So this is still going to hit like a truck, and again, RenieHour, he's going to slow this down. He does spot the push, he confirms no expansion, there it is, the poise are being pulled one way or another, the game is about to end. I'll pick up, does save the Cyclone. Cyclone is saved. Guilliman does commit. Ooh, catches one of the Stalkers. Does get one. Does get one, keeps on pushing, oh, taking a lot of hits though. Does take a lot of damage, will bleed out a couple of SCVs. Cyclone does not go down the Stalkers. Ooh, we're lacking Blink. We're lacking control here. Otherwise, RenieHour was distracted by the Liberator. Yeah, massive loss. Massive losses here for RenieHour. 7 Stalkers going down. Brutal pickup. And this may just be too much. Guilliman may just have too much here. He commits to the 2-base all-in. The poise are here. Stim is done. Tanks have yet to siege, so the DPS here is going to be a little bit lessened here. Immortals, they focus on one of the tanks. I'll pick up, oh my god, the micro. He saves both. Does save both tanks is around. And the Immortals are not getting out of here. They're not getting out. One Immortal should fall, the other barely escapes. Shield battery coming into play, but alas, Guilliman, yeah, he overwhelms. He breaks through, takes out both Immortals, takes out the Stalkers, and will overwhelm. As he gets the entire middle line tanks, they finally do siege up. On top of the production, on top of the natural. And Guilliman, he's done it. It was a delayed 1-base all-in, but GG gets called, and Guilliman will take game number 1. GG. Whew. Oh my god. GG, well played. Does take lead in the series. Again, RenieHour unfortunately took him a little bit too long to realize what was happening. More importantly, remember, he lost 7 Stalkers. His Stalkers, they were meant to slow down the push. They were meant to pick away at the SCVs. But as the army was pushing out across the map, he lost them. He lost every single Stalker. He got surrounded. He got shut down. The Blink Micro was not there. The Blink Micro was not there for RenieHour. Likewise, he wasn't stutter stepping either, and he lost every single one of his Stalkers. That was a big blow there for RenieHour, and alas, he just didn't have enough left over. Didn't have enough back at home. GG, well played with that. RenieHour does, he does take the loss initially. Guilliman will take a 1-0 lead, and now we're getting ready for game numero 2. Getting ready for game 2, and ooh, where are we dropping? Game 2 is going to be on Diffusion. Okay, so when it comes to the previous map, there were some certain advantages on that map when it comes to defensive positions, especially at the ramp, especially in the center, that didn't really come into play. Now we load into a very different map, a map that I don't think I've seen before. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm excited. We are loading into another 2-player spawn map. There is a 3-player spawn map in the map pool. That is true. We'll get there. Potentially we'll get there. I hope we do. But this is RenieHour's map of choice. I don't know how much experience many of these players will have with these maps, but hopefully more experience over time. And here we go. We're jumping into game number 2. Oh, as we have changed colors. God damn it. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Diffusion, we have our South Green Protoss player, the Orange Protoss, representing his team among SC2 people. It is RenieHour. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Terran player from South Korea. Also on team among SC2 people, it is Guilliman. I see someone else in the chat. Isn't RenieHour a Hearthstone player? He is. He has been playing SC2 for the past month, maybe 2 months. In recent times this year, he has been competing, has been playing, started his own team, and has been, just spending a lot of time playing SC2. Again, we have been seeing him in our brackets over the past, 2 or 3 weeks, maybe over a month at this point, maybe over a month. Likewise, a lot of players have kind of gathered around him as well, so it's great to see him, I want to say, almost revitalizing the amateur SC2 scene. I'm referring to players like Lunacy, Rebellion, Guilliman as well, and Prome, many others. Great to see. It is great to see. But here we go. We do have, once again, double gas. Okay. I feel like I should focus a little bit on the game first before diving into the map, but it is going to be double gas opener here out of our Terran player. Once again, double gas means a later expansion, and after what just happened in game 1, there is a high chance that we might even commit to another one base all-in. Regardless, it should be a factory before command center. And as if on cue, there it is. Factory is on the way. Now, when it comes to embracing the rest of the map here, this does look a little bit more standard. This time there is dead space behind the bases, outside of the natural, outside of the main base. We do see here a greater entrance here towards the main when it comes to blink, when it comes to blinking in, when it comes to trying to abuse that main location. The natural is tucked away a little bit more. There's less room behind the natural mineral line as opposed to the previous map. So here, drop play and harassment is more effective, and we are opening up proxy factory, double factory, one base all in. Okay. Meanwhile, when it comes to some of the features of the map, we do have a Zelnaga. Interesting location. Zelnaga's on the low ground, surrounded by massive ramps, I should say. So interesting kind of setup here in the center of the map. Likewise, the third base location, triangular third base, is a little bit more defendable here with ramps. I say that there's a lot of ramps. There's a ramp here on the right hand side, a ramp towards the center, a ramp towards the left, another ramp here as well. So there's a lot of these choke points, but I can see this game, this map leading to longer games just because it is a larger map. A lot of bases, very large map, a lot of ramps throughout the center as well, a lot of high ground, a lot of low ground locations, steam vents, rocks as well. It's very clustered, I will say. There's like a lot going on when it comes to the layouts or the lay of the land on the map itself. We're not going to get there though, because again, it's a one base all in. God damn it. We're rushing into Macville Accelerator's Mass Cyclone. It's a Mass Cyclone out of Guilliman. Likewise, I find these two bases really interesting as well, just because they're bases in the middle of attack pods or scouting pods as well. There's not like too much room here, but we're not really going to get there. Meanwhile, RenieHour back at home going for a Robo Opener. This is typically a very safe way to play, just because a Robo Opener gives you access to early Immortal production, so you can build up your Immortal count really early on. But Mass Cyclone is going to be a bit of an issue here, as the boys are being pulled, Rax is floating across the map as an Overlord just for vision, and right now we have Vanilla Stalkers to defend. Now there is going to be that Prism to Micro. The boys are here too soon. We're here a little bit too soon. There we go, Cyclone is revealed. Shield Battery is ready, and so far good control. Does kite back. Does kite back. This time the control is there. This time doesn't lose a single Stalker, not yet. Takes down all the SCVs. Takes out all the workers, and he should be able to break the lock-on. Whew, does break it. And lock-on is broken. The boys are all dead. There's barely any repairs going on. Oh, lift! Oh my god. Lift, Pappy, lift! He will lose one Stalker. One Stalker goes down. But in the end, RenieHour, he should shut this down. He should shut this down completely. Again, the Immortal has arrived. Extra Stalkers. What did he lose? One Stalker? Yep, one Stalker and one Adept. Very nice hold here from RenieHour. The Cyclones are still doing what they can. Ideally, they want to lock on the Prism, but they cannot get close. They cannot get close. The Rax does crumble. And back at home, what is it to defend? As another Cyclone falls, there is nothing. There's nothing at home. There's no CC, no Starport. GG gets called, and RenieHour fights back and ties up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. But yes, to reiterate what someone said earlier, RenieHour, he was a Hearthstone player, a Hearthstone pro player, a pretty solid player. He was also a content creator as well, so there's plenty of content of him on his YouTube channel, but recently did decide to go back into StarCraft 2. So it's great to see him returning to StarCraft after so long. For those who don't know, he competed way back when in the beta, if not Wings of Liberty. Like, that's when RenieHour was competing in SC2 back in Wings of Liberty. Then he retired. He retired out of Heart of the Swarm, out of Legacy of the Void, and only recently returning to the game. So it's really cool to see him back. Really cool to see him. I was actually probing him a little bit. I was asking him, like, oh, like, what brought you back to StarCraft after so many years? And he said that his friend kept pestering him to play, and he emphasized who his friend was. It's Lunacy. that makes sense. That makes sense. Lunacy. Lunacy, of course, a player, a Korean Protoss that we have featured many times here on the channel. Is a regular. You know, he's even rocking up in the chat as well. Oh. So yeah, it is great to see. It's great to see that Lunacy, he's dragging in more players. Hashtag blame Lunacy. Exactly. Lunacy. Go. So we're getting into our ace match. Here we go, we're getting into our next matchup, getting into the ace match here as we load into Persephone. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have our South Korean Protoss player, South Korean Protoss, who is distracted. We have our Orange Protoss player representing team among SC2 people. It is RenieHour. Should I be calling it like Rainer? Is that like, is it meant to be like Rainier? Like, because there's a capital H, I'm saying it like 2 words, like RenieHour. Is that correct? Is it 1 word? I should ask him. That's spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. Or bottom left, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran. It is Guilliman. Here we go. As we do load into Persephone, this is a very interesting map in the map pool, by the way. So as we get into this, we have our main base. Likewise, we have only one kind of angle here where something like Blink Stalkers can threaten the main. Likewise, the natural is a little bit more exposed in a sense. It's a bit of a smaller natural base. There is some dead space here in the corners of the map. More importantly, though, we have the right-hand flank. There's like an entire alley back here of speed zones. We have a line of speed zones here lining up the right hand side. We have a center goal base with more speed zones as well, fully walled off with rocks initially, but there is a gold, there are speed zones here on the right, likewise short rush distance by air on the left hand side. Very short rush distance by air from base to base. It is similar to that of El Dorado, for those that are curious. I think maybe even a little bit shorter than El Dorado. When it comes to rush distance by ground, that's where things are a little bit different. Before I get ahead of myself, I believe that is a healing shrine. Let's go. Healing shrine is available here to heal up some units. I don't know how quickly that works, if it's like slow regen over time. I would love to see this come into play. I don't know if our players are aware, but there is a healing shrine here on the map. Likewise, when it comes to taking our third bases, there is a triangular third that's on the high ground that does have a ramp, a very narrow ramp leading into it, so very defendable third base location. Likewise, you can try to wall this area off on the right hand side as well. The low ground third is going to be a little bit more exposed and a little bit more difficult to hold on to. Bear that in mind, but you can try to expand away from your opponent. Likewise, once again, a really unorthodox setup here of ramps and pathways make it very interesting to expand and to even attack into as well. Like, I'm imagining trying to push into this setup, and it can be a little bit awkward at times. Likewise, destructible towers to wall these areas off. But before I get ahead of myself, wait, he's crazy. He's expanding. Guilliman, he found his CC button. He's crazy. Oh my god. For the first time this series, and the Adept does confirm. You can see the double scat as well. But RenieHour, he wants to make sure that he's not seeing things. He's like, hold on, there's a base. He's not one base all in. Now, this is when he just takes the natural. He doesn't make any SCVs, and he just pull the boys. That's like, that's what you do at that. Oh my god. But alas, he is going to be expanding. Now, behind this, what's important is a 2-on-1. we have a second Rax before the starport. Now, this second Rax typically means Tech Lab into Stim. Yep, there it is. Stim is on the way. So, what I will say, this Tech Lab is late. This build is a little bit wonky, and the Tech Lab is delayed. Usually, you go for an add-on swap. You make the Tech Lab on the factory, then you add-on swap once the Rax is done, and you hit Stim as quickly as possible. So, this should be a Stim rush into medevac timing. So, 16 Marines, 2 medevacs, and the timing across the map. But this is done in a bit of a different way. So this is going to hit a little bit later. So this is going to be a later 2-on-1 from our Terran player, and that is not Stim. That is Concussive Shell. Okay. Huh. So this is different. We are add-on swapping into medevacs, but that is the fast Tech Lab on the factory. So this is going to be a 2-on-1 concussive shell timing with what looks to be tanks. This looks hyper aggressive. This looks like we're probably going to pull the boys alongside this. Meanwhile, so far good control here by RenieHour. Does poke in, picks up a couple of Marines. Has to be careful, the concussive shell is about to kick in. He does spot that Marauder, he has to respect it. Does have to respect it. Behind this, third base is being taken. It is a Twilight Council opener. Blink is already done. So 3-gate blink into a third base. Pretty safe build here by RenieHour. But if you remember, he also went for a safe build in game 1. It comes down to the control, comes down to his micro. Tank production has begun. We're going for delayed Stim instead from our Terran. This means it's going to be a later timing. Oh no! Medevac is not going to go down. Medevac doesn't fall. And as much as I would love to see the health, the healing shrine, the goal base, the speed zones, all this come to play, just because of the kind of player that Guilliman is, because we've seen nothing but all-in so far, I don't think any of this is going to come into play. I'll be honest. I feel like we're going to just send it across the map, and one way or another, someone is going to go down. Here we go, Guilliman does push at the same time. The Stalkers, they blink in. Oh, they blink in at the same time. SCV's going to go down. Very nice timing here by RenieHour. Catches the SCVs, catches Marines, takes down a depot. Tank does siege, but this is delaying the push. It is delaying the push. Third base getting fully saturated. Well, we're getting there. Charge on the way, extra gateways. And again, because the Observer, as soon as the Terran moves out, I mean, we are ready to blink in. Now just waiting for his moment. And you can see he sees everything. He's forcing more Raxes. Delaying the Terran. Containing the Terran even. And likewise, RenieHour now going for his own Gateway Explosion into mass charge lots. So Blink Stalker into +1 charge lots here from RenieHour. Things are looking better for our Protoss. As the Terran is still contained. Oh! Tank really going up. Oh, yeah, some awkward blinks. One Stalker should not go down. Barely does blink away. Oh, oh no! Forcing a bit of friendly fire. Bit of a misclick there from our Terran player. Likewise, gateways are finishing up. The Bay is on the way for Colossus production. Gas is soon to be taken. Oh! Does stem out. There we go. Finally, he breaks out. Do you see what I see on the minimap? I see a big blob. It's the SCVs, isn't it? Yeah, let's go. The boys are being pulled. It's all or nothing here for our Terran, as to be expected from Guilliman. He is going for a 2-base all-in, but so far, bleeds out a couple of Marines. The boys are here to repair. They're here to buffer. The tanks do on siege. And it's all or nothing for the Terran. One way or another, the game is about to end. But he's moving into charge lots. Score on left-hand side. Now the Observer did see the move out, did see the all-in. RenieHour knows. Out of position. Does move out. Okay. Thankfully coming back. Kind of. Yeah, he does miss the main army. Yeah, out of position. Tanks will siege. Robo's exposed, and the Colossus may not pop out. Cells take up from behind. Robo does complete. Colossus has the right. The first tank falls. Yeah, he gets one. And he should get the other tank as well. It takes out the Liberator, and RenieHour is shutting this down completely. 21 SCV kills. And Guilliman, he's down to his last legs. Down to not even a final tank. Tank goes down. And with that, Guilliman, he has nothing left. He's kiting back. He has one more tank remaining. over the Tuna. The final fight, the tank will fall, and alas, RenieHour will reign supreme. He'll reign supreme, shuts down the all-ins. Delta come in from behind, and GG gets called. RenieHour will take the series at 2-1. GG. Hey. GG, well played. RenieHour, he will claim the series, will advance on, but a shout out to Guilliman for forcing the ace match and for having a very aggressive style. Unfortunately, because of the non-stop all-ins, we didn't really get to experience the map too much, but it seems to be Guilliman's style. Whether it was game 1 and game 2, 1 base all-ins, or game 3, 2 base all-in. This hyper aggression out of our Terran player. GG, well played. With that, RenieHour, he will advance on into the next round, and the question becomes, who will he face off against? Oh, we can answer that question as we head on over to the Americas region and we switch our scenes and catch up on the bracket. Let's go.